hidari, migi.
Yeah.
Okay, I can do it.
Each time before you take either a written exam or the driving practical, you are required to take the eye exam. So even though I had already taken an eye exam before the written exam there in Shizuoka, because that day I was there for the driving practical, I had to take another eye exam. And I just wanted to go over the differences of eye exams in Japan. It's very interesting. So you have a chart like this one, where there's a bunch of like C's, backward C's, you know, it's basically you have to say what part of the circle is open. So they'll highlight one of the little circles with the spot open, and you have to say like, you know, it's open on the top, so ue, shita, hidari, migi, and you just say which part of it is open, which is very different from the United States, because you know you've got a chart like this one with the big letter, and then it just kind of read the smallest one you can read, and this one they just highlight whichever one on the chart that you are supposed to say, ue, shita. So that's just a little bit of interesting culture differences concerning eye exams. There were 5 or 6 courses there at Seibu Driving Center, and I'm pretty sure the one I was assigned that day was course 3. Now it is one physical course, but when I say courses, I mean like the different routes around the course. So since I couldn't take any pictures or videos, I screenshot the satellite image from Google Maps, and then on that screenshot I drew kind of what was on the picture. So there are 4 different colors here, and it's just to make it easier to read and easier to remember. So you have green was the first one, and then it turns into yellow, and then blue, and then red finish. So it looks a little sloppy there, but it served its purpose for the day. And anyways, this next clip you're gonna see, I probably technically still wasn't supposed to record in this area, but there was a door, like before you got to the room you're definitely not allowed to record in. So, and there was nobody around. So that's what this next clip is. Okay, I am at Seibu Center in Hamamatsu, about to take my practical driving exam, and I'm very, very nervous because it's my first time with no practice. And I've never been on the course before, but I'm planning on going and walking the course now, so very, very nervous. Yappari, I knew it. I failed, but everybody failed. There was a girl who, that was like her 12th time taking it, and they are so strict. So I'm done with Shizuoka Prefecture, and I'm going to go ahead and move to Aichi Prefecture, and I will have to take the written exam again, but I've heard the practical exam is much easier in Aichi Prefecture. So the only input they gave me was I don't look on my left enough, and I kind of hug, which I talked about in my driving video. I hug the driver's side, which is the right side of the vehicle, because because the perception, it's hard to tell how much room you have on the left side, and for a lot of foreigners, accidents happen on the left side because you're not gauging the distance properly. So that's why I thought it would be okay to just hug the driver's side, but apparently not. So make sure you look left enough, because there could be bicyclists whenever you turn left. You have to check and make sure you're not gonna cut off a bicyclist or whatever. So that's pretty much all the input that I got. Oh, and of course, you know, I had to make my lovely mistake of the windshield wipers. You know, I just had to do that in the exam. So I did that twice, 2 times, not once, twice. So I'm sure that was probably an automatic fail. But all in all, I feel like I didn't do too bad, especially for my first time. I think for my first time, I did pretty okay. I memorized the course. The course was fine. That was my biggest worry, was that I wasn't going to be able to remember the course. And then the dude actually ended up like, oh, Mingi. Oh, that's Hidari. No, it might be me. Anyways, turn this way, turn that way. And I'm like, okay, I didn't need to memorize the course. That's cool. But anyways, so if I get more details, I will give more details. But right now, that's all I got. Alright, so I know that I probably said some of this stuff in my driving video, but just to give a little bit of context, when you're in Japan, you can drive with your country's license as long as you have the international driver's permit for only up to a year. So my international driver's permit expires on like November 27th of this year. So, as you saw, I took the driving test in Shizuoka Prefecture and failed. So it is ridiculously difficult to pass there. So, but also apparently another difference, I had to schedule the written exam and then wait for like a month before I could take it. I am actually on my way to take the written exam at the Toyokawa, I think, driving center right now. And I just went to the center yesterday with all my paperwork, and you can just walk in and take the written exam on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So I'm really hoping that that means that I won't have to wait another month to take the practical exam, because that's what happened in Shizuoka Prefecture, is you took the written exam and then you had to wait a month before you could take the practical. Furthermore, practice is only the third Saturday of every month in Shizuoka Prefecture, at least in Hamamatsu. Maybe it's different at other driving centers, but the closest one to where I was in Hamamatsu. So, yeah, I'm just on my way to take the written exam, which is super easy, 10 questions. So, I know I'm going to pass that, and the driving exam is a lot easier, so I'm really hoping that I'll be able to pass that on the first time after some practice. Alright, so a little bit more background of what all I have to go through. I mean, you maybe you get the gist of it at this point. You gotta take the written exam, you gotta take the practical, and then you get your Japanese driver's license. But you also, another fact is you have to prove that you have been in your country for 3 months with that license. So don't get it renewed right before coming to Japan. Actually, is it my turn up here? No, almost. So my passport, I got my passport in July of 2017, my first passport. And I got my license in July of 2016. So, boom, there's my proof. Cool. They also ask a bunch of questions about how you got your license in America, in your country, I guess. And so I had to try to remember how and what all I had to go through to get my license back when I was like 16. So like, yeah, a little bit ago, over a decade ago now. And plus that was in Virginia. So trying to explain to them, yeah, no, I was in Virginia when I got my license, but then I moved, and then, you know, every 4 years you have to renew because it'll expire, or every time you move, you have to get it renewed. And they just were not understanding that yesterday. It was very frustrating. I'm like, I don't understand why this is so difficult. And I had a translator. So, anyways, yeah. That's what's up with the driver's license. It's super stressful, and I know there's 3 months, but like, people fail the exam over and over again. But again, this one's easier, so hopefully I can pass it the first time I take it here in Aichi. So here's the driving course here at Toyokawa Driving Center. You can't really see much at this angle, so here's a satellite image of it. It's very different, but I think I can pass. I memorized the other course really fast, so woohoo! That day, I was also super lucky to acquire very detailed pictures of the 2 courses. Yes, in Aichi Prefecture, there's only 2 courses. You have Course A and Course B. Again, the colors are super helpful, and this is kind of what I was trying to get mine to look like whenever I drew on the satellite image. Like I told you, I would have expected in the last clip, I did pass my written exam easily. 10 easy questions, no problem. The driving practical was scheduled for September 14th, but there were no practices available before that test. And I really need 2 practice sessions, like 2 hours of practice before the test. So we rescheduled it for September 20th, so this Thursday, and I just finished practicing for a couple of hours. So here's a few things that I learned. Before you put the parking brake down, you put it in drive first. Okay, here, can you see that? You put it in drive and then you put the parking brake down, obviously pushing the brake. So that's something that was different than what I expected. You know, so it's adjust your seat, adjust the mirror, adjust the steering wheel, buckle up, start the car, put it in drive, parking brake down, check, blinker, well I think it's blinker, then check, then go. So a couple of other things that I found out that I was doing wrong was you cannot do this, and you cannot do this. You can only hold the steering wheel this way. I am notorious for doing this when I turn. That is bad. And the first guy, for the first hour, didn't tell me that. The second guy, who was yelling his little head in Japanese off, like it was, oh my gosh, like he just, like, do you understand? I'm like, you know, "そうと思います," like, I think so. And he was like, no, you don't understand. He'd get out of the car right in the middle of the course and be like, this. And he was very specific, because he's like, the antenna needs to stop here on like all the turns. And I'm like, look, I haven't even memorized the course yet. I should probably memorize the course before you start giving me exactly where what needs to be in order for this to happen. That last guy really put my anxiety up. The first dude was just like, okay, yes, now slowly. And now you need to do this. And now you need to do this. Like, he was very calm. And this other guy, he was helpful and he was funny, but he was just like, I'm like, you know, I said I speak a little Japanese, right? I mean, I understood most of what he said, I'm pretty sure, but he did have to like say it a couple different ways at certain times for me to understand. So, anyways, what else did they say? You do really need to get really close to the line without going over the line. Especially when you do a left turn, you really need to be as far left so that bikers don't, like, can't go and get in your way, and so you won't hit them. You have to check every time, obviously. I say obviously, but like, a lot of this stuff isn't really necessarily obvious. What else? I think anything else they said pertaining to this course would be different if one were to go to a different course. So I think those are just some things that are in Japan, things that I didn't know, like the steering wheel, the parking brake. Everything else kind of just depends on the region. So hopefully that was helpful if you ever plan on driving in Japan. Fun times. I really do think that I can pass the test on Thursday, as long as my anxiety doesn't get the best of me and I'm like, wait, he said this, and then he said this, and then, like, you know, have like a bajillion different voices in my head during the driving exam, like, no, you can't do this, oh, you just failed, you know, as long as I can maintain the voices in my head, I think I'll be fine. So I'll let you know how that goes. One other thing I just remembered as I started driving, the steering wheel is 1, 2, 3, ka-chung, okay? And I wouldn't always, I need to turn left here, I wouldn't always, like, turn the wheel to where it was supposed to go back straight. Like, it's really important for whenever you turn the wheel that you put it back straight. And I didn't do that a lot. I kept it tilted, and then I was going really fast this way and really fast this way, and they were like, no, dame, that. Alright. So anyways, that's about that. The journey to getting my Japanese driver's license is quite a long one. There's a lot of dynamic to it. It's been really, really crazy. So I do need to go ahead and stop this one here. It's already longer than I've been trying to keep my videos lately. But go ahead and check out part 2 to see the rest of the journey.